to get negative thoughts down, writing in a notebook and notes in the phone or whatever it might be, that allows then for positive thoughts and emotions to come in. So it's very powerful writing things down.
Welcome to the Lara Jane Layton Show. This podcast is for you, the person who keeps putting others first. Your self-talk has held you back. You no longer need to take a second seat. Let's explore ways to overcome self-doubt. You can silence that inner bully voice and achieve your full potential. Here's your host, Lara Jane.
Hello again, listeners. I have another guest with me, and his name is Paul. And Paul is a coach and yoga teacher, and he is going to talk to us today about being our best self. And all of his information is available in the show notes. So you can just go right down there and find it if you want to connect with him. But Paul, I am so excited about becoming my best self. Tell me how I can do this.
Excellent introduction, Laura Jane. So yeah, great to be here. Well, be your best self. For me, it all comes down to what I value and what's important to me and connecting to that and just living my life to the fullest and not waiting for tomorrow, or not necessarily tomorrow, but not waiting for potentially sickness or some sort of drastic thing to happen before making a change. So that's definitely one of the big things for me and one of the big messages for myself and for other people.
That is great, because I waited till I got sick to change my life. So I am 100% behind you in helping people to not go that far down the road before they make a change. So how do you approach people becoming or living their best life?
It's always up to them, of course. My wife's got a saying, you're only ready when you're ready. So I can't force anyone, but I mean, it's just getting the message out there. And I lost someone close to me many years ago that significantly changed my life to the point where I changed careers, changed my relationship, changed where I lived. Like my whole life just changed in a good way. So unfortunately, like two things came out of that, devastation because of someone close to me who was gone. But on the other hand, turned all that into a positive and learned from that situation, and then grew into the person I am now and started all the taking action, started doing the personal development and things like that. So it's just guiding and supporting people to take small steps in just being a better person than they were yesterday, or taking one step at a time to live a better life if perhaps having some struggles right now, or even if they want to just go up to the next level in their life. It's just almost hand-holding them if they need that support for that to happen.
Yeah, the caterpillar does not become a butterfly overnight. It takes a huge transition. And I love the one step at a time because it's manageable and you're not uprooting everything and changing it. So what is your approach in doing that, helping people to identify that?
Yeah, so if it's task-driven and people can get extremely overwhelmed with massive list to do, I think I've probably heard all this before, but just picking the significant things that need to happen, say in a week, and then just breaking them down. I always look at things like goals as an example, or things that I want to achieve. Well, if you break it all down, say it's a 12-month goal or whatever, and this is what I guide others to do as well, just break it down into 6 months, 1 month, 1 week, 1 day, almost 1 hour. And then you'll end up with this large list, but simple things. Because if you look at the year out, well, I'm halfway through the year already, and I'm nowhere near where I was meant to be. But if you break it all down and then just have a simple list and you can tick it off or you cross it off or whatever people like to do, that it's not so overwhelming and you're still moving forward in a significant way because everything you're doing is towards that end goal or towards that value or whatever you're working towards.
It kind of reminds me of when you get it written down. We leave these tasks, all this stuff we need to do in our heads, and it just stresses you out because you're constantly thinking and thinking and thinking. And I think once you take that step and write it down, it frees up your mind. You don't have to keep grasping onto it so you remember. You can go, I've got it remembered. I have it written down. It's so freeing to do that. Do you coach the people into being able to write those down or just encourage? Because sometimes I don't know what the next step is.
Yeah, well, I always ask the deep questions to get them to answer what the next step is, because I'm a big believer that we've all got the answers inside, just have the right guidance to actually tap in deep and find those answers for themselves. Yeah, because there's a big difference, I guess, between counselling and coaching. Counselling is this is how I explain it to people. Counselling is more, I guess, they give you the guidance and support, which is amazing to take that next level. Coaching is more like looking internally and trying to find the answer themselves. So definitely guide them in that regard to come up with the answers themselves. But yeah, I mean, certainly give them an advice if they're totally overwhelmed and don't know what the next step is and stuck, to simplify things down. I'm a big believer life is simple if you do break it all down and simplify it. So taking that overwhelm out, writing it down, like you said, like getting out of the head. And then once we write it down, get out of the head, like you said, it allows space for goodness to come back in. So it's pretty powerful stuff.
Oh, I like that. Because I have always said, if you're going to get rid of something, you got to replace it with something. So I've never really thought about it once I write down those tasks that I can actually replace that with positive things. So I learned something today. Thank you.
Yeah, absolutely. You're welcome. Even negative thoughts. If we get negative thoughts down, the good old journaling and things like that, but some people don't like the word journaling because it's been used for so long, but it's just writing in a notebook and notes in the phone or wherever it might be. If you get negative thoughts out or negative emotions, that allows then for positive thoughts and emotions to come in. So it can work in sort of all different ways. So it's very powerful, like you said, writing things down.
Yeah, I love the automatic writing process where I just write down the question and start just, what are the things that support? And it's so awesome. By that time you're done with, hi, I have an answer and I came from within, or higher power, whatever you want to go with.
Yeah.
But it's refreshing to know that we actually have those answers within us.
Totally. Yeah, absolutely. It is refreshing. Yeah.
Now, you said you do yoga class every morning. How does that go?
Yeah, so Monday to Friday, so I don't do it on a weekend, but it's more for people that don't want to walk into a yoga studio, maybe even have never done yoga before, even though it's catered for all levels. And it's a 40-minute session, so it's quite easy to fit into everyone's morning or afternoon or evening, whatever the time zone people are in. And I'm in Australia, so it's based on Australian time. So it's early in the morning here, so people can just roll out of bed and straight into a session, whether in their pajamas or whatever, turn the camera on or leave it off, whatever it's comfortable for them. So it's very traditional style as well. So there's a lot of, instead of doing all the advanced poses you see all over the social media, some of those are part of it, but it's more connecting internally, connecting to the breath. The style is hatha yoga, so it's very extremely traditional, and it's more connecting the movement and the breath and just really knowing the power of the breath and how that affects the body in a positive way.
Yeah, I'm definitely all about the breath. It's like, it can be so calming if you allow that space. And I need calming. I'm a go a million miles an hour as much as possible. And it's nice to just disconnect from that drive. And so I really appreciate that stuff.
Yeah, it's so important. I mean, today's world is so fast, especially in the Western world, and going from A to B to C and it's never ending, and go to bed and get up and do it again the next day. Having that time out, even if it's on the yoga mat or sitting under a tree in nature or whatever, just to really reflect on who I am as a person, and obviously individuals as well, when they have that space to be able to just sit and breathe and take things in. Being more aware is a huge thing. So that's all around the whole yoga, but also what I guide and support others to do as well. But when you're on the yoga mat and you're feeling quite calm, you can take that calmness out in the world. It doesn't have to be as soon as you step off the mat, the chaos starts. It's more how I and others react to things that happen during the day, because they will. But if you're in a calm state already, the nervous system's calm, the body's calm, the mind's calm, the breath work, your breathing is quite calm, then it makes the day a lot more flowing than if we're not in that state.
You know, if you know all your breath work, you can do it in the grocery store line. You can do it in
absolutely.
your car. You can do it wherever you are. You do not have to be on the yoga mat. And my husband and I are certified in pranasana yoga, and just that breath and that how you energize yourself with it, which is so freeing. I don't know. For me, it just, when I can take control of an anxiety attack and turn it around, because you lose that whole rationality. It's gone. And so how do you bring that back? And I know you work a lot with people. And what do you find is the most common thing that you're coaching people through?
Oh, well, the big ones, I'm not good enough, or I'm not where I should be in life because someone else is 10 times better off financially or living in the dream home, whatever it might be. So they're the two big ones. And obviously the extremely large one is, why am I here? What's my purpose? That I'm not sure. I've lost direction, lost the spark in life. So they're probably the top three. I mean, we've all been there. Everyone that I coach is some of the stuff I've worked on, or most of it's probably things that I've worked on, apart from some of the extreme negative things. may not have. But I mean, we've all been there, we've all worked through it. It's just what we do, and it's just making that decision to make that change. And that's the thing I love about the coaching side of things, because it's empowering the individual, and take the ownership and the direction and a step forward, like we spoke of before, to become a better person and live the life that they actually love.
Yeah, I mean, I'm with you. It's like those people that give you parenting advice that don't have children. And until you've been there, done that, you really don't know. And I trust my coaches that have been through the same crap that I've been through. And I want to know they've experienced, because there's more empathy. They understand. It's not like, oh, well, I've never had an anxiety attack, so I don't know what the crap. But you can do these things because I read it in a book. So I think I'm very good with your clients, because you have been there and you have gone through it and you have turned your life around. So I think that that's amazing. And it's like, hey, I'm not perfect.
Yeah, that's right. None of us are perfect. It's so important, I think, to be able to connect in with the coach as well. Like my wife is a coach as well. We still get coaching from our coach. It's an ongoing growing, learning, and just to be that step up or the better person. And it's just making that decision and finding the right person for that guidance and support. And once you have that, then it's an ongoing process.
I mean, people think they can do it without anybody. Let's just take a note from the religious community, even though I don't have a religious group, me and myself. I'm very spiritual. But what do the religious communities do? They meet every week. They help you every week. And duh, it works. So if you really want to stay focused on yourself and fix the things that are going wrong, you can't just put it on the back burner, write it down. You need that accountability partner that's there for you. And that's what you're doing for your clients. I'm going to meet with you every week for 9 weeks, and we're going to make this work, because you have that accountability person or that support system.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think for the men that I coach, the community is a big thing. So if they're lost or having that time in their life where they're not sure which direction they're going, or they want to step up to the next level, whatever, it's having that community space and feel that they belong to something is huge. I guess it goes back to maybe the tribal days. I'm not sure, but I'd say that's where it's all connected back into. So with obviously the beauty of Zoom and things are so close now, they're around the world, that's where the live calls come in. So group calls that I have with males. So it's just talking about all sorts of different things, spotlight coaching, or it might be just a general chat just to check in on others. So it's having that community as well is a big one too.
Oh, I love that. So do all of your clients participate in the group sessions also?
Not all of them. I mean, it's just every week. It's more for the people that have gone through the program that I have and the ongoing calls with that.
That maintenance program.
Yeah, that's it. So like we sort of said before, it's making sure, I guess, as the individual, they're still tapping in, but still growing and still practicing, because everything that we do on a personal level, and also what I support as well, it's just an evolution. Like it's every day we've got to practice. We can always slip back into old habits and ways, but then it's being aware of that and coming out of it and taking all those learnings to move forward. And that's what the weekly calls are about, just making sure that we're all on the same path, we're all on the journey forward, and we're not sort of slipping back into the old habits and ways, which we can easily do.
That's awesome. I really think that community is important. So on that note, we're going to take just a really quick break for a note from our sponsor. And when we come back, Paul's going to tell us a little bit more about community and how he makes that work.
This podcast is sponsored by Lara Jane Coaching. You know you're ready to silence your inner bully voice. Let Lara Jane support you with coaching. To schedule an introduction call, go to larajanelayton.com.
We're back. Thank you, Paul. This has been so much fun. And I'm really intrigued with this community stuff and how that support system, sometimes I feel all alone in my struggles. And I'm feeling like that community would be really important to know that you're not alone. I mean, sometimes we think we're the only one that feels like we're trying to keep up with the Joneses. I don't know if that's a saying in Australia or not. But
yeah, it is. Yeah, yes.
In America.
Yeah,
so it's like, no, there's a lot of people that are in that same boat. So I'm thinking it would be really key to staying on track.
Sure is. I mean, I've got a men's private Facebook group, so I'm all around creating a non-judgmental, safe space for people to come into, whether it's one-on-one coaching, the group calls, or the men's Facebook group. So I want people to basically be themselves in these groups, no matter what's going on in their life. And having a safe space for that to happen is absolutely critical, because it's, for males in general, it can be challenging expressing thoughts, emotions, and feelings. So to have that space and create that non-judgmental space is critical for men to actually start opening up.
That's a good point. I never thought about that, because men, at least the men in my life, are less likely to open up to what their emotional states are. So creating that space and allowing that, do you keep the group small, or do you just, like, I've been invited to groups that have 30,000 people in it, and I'm not talking in there.
Yeah, it is quite small. And I check on everyone that's sort of coming in as well, especially the Facebook group. There's questions. The other one, the live calls for the men's program, I know who everyone is, because they've obviously been either one-on-one coaching or they've gone through the online program with me as well. So the Facebook ones, they randomly find the group where they type in, because it's called Helping Men Rise Facebook group. So if they're searching, they might find it. They will find it. There's 3 questions, and I can check out who they are, even message them. So it's quite unique. And then obviously if someone starts not going by the rules or whatever, and I can just message them and take them out of the group. So I'm always in there checking to make sure they're the right people, if they're going to support others, because the last thing I want is someone to put up a very vulnerable post and then someone have some backlash towards them, and that's not what the group's about. So yeah, it's pretty powerful.
Yeah, safe space is important, especially when we start allowing someone else to know what we're hiding. I don't want anybody to know I suffer from this, whatever. It's hard because you go out from a corporate world or whatever world you live in, and you put your best foot forward and you hide as much of your flaws as possible, because that's what we feel like we're supposed to do. How do you overcome feeling like you have to be perfect?
Well, that's some of the journey I've been on over the years, and what I support the men through the online program that I offer is, nobody's perfect. And it's funny because there's a company in Australia called Authentic Education where I did a lot of coaching with and a lot of public speaking with, or basically done all their courses, and they've got a saying, especially for public speaking, that it's only a practice for your next one. So whatever you're doing, whether it's the day or whether it's a presentation or a report or whatever the work is, if you look at it, it's only, I'm not perfect, I'm trying to do it perfect, but if you take all that away, strip it down and just think, okay, it's only a practice for the next one, then potentially it takes all the pressure off, because I'm just doing a training session.
So today you're practicing for your next podcast interview. You're doing great.
That's right. Yeah, that's right. Yeah, because if I sat here and thought, okay, everything I have to say has to be 100% perfect, and obviously learn from these sort of experiences for the next one or whatever it might be, but it's just talking to people. But it takes the pressure off when you know that what you're doing is just a practice for the next one.
Yeah, I used to make fun of newscasters and stuff when they would screw up their words. I don't anymore, because I do it all the time. And I have one podcast where I said I'm still trying to prove them right, and I meant wrong. And I went, I hope people know what that means, because I'm not going to re-edit it, try to be perfect. It's just life. So I mess up all the time. It's like,
totally.
If you don't like me, then don't listen.
Yeah, I've done pre-recorded videos and stuff like that before for social media, and I've gone back and exactly what you just said then. I've said the opposite word to what I meant to be saying. I thought, oh no. So yeah, it's
like, it worked.
I think if you bring the fun factor into it as well, it brings in more flow, and just the energy totally shifts as well around anything if you look at things in a different light.
Yeah, I don't like trying to be perfect. I just want everybody that joins to have fun, and it just felt like it was just friends talking. We're not trying to impress anybody, right? We're just trying to share what we've learned.
Totally, yeah. And that comes across too in the podcast as well. So yeah, love it.
Yeah. Well, do you have some more wisdom to share with us? I can ask lots of questions. You might have something that I might not think about.
Well, I'm a big believer of nature and getting out in nature and sitting in stillness. Like I said, we're in the middle of one of the cities in Australia, like pretty much the next suburb out of the CBD. But we do have beautiful parks around, just being still. One day I was actually sitting down in our local park, and I was just started to do the breathing and just slowing my mind and body down, and just looked around and totally 100% aware of everything that was around me. The sounds, I could hear the birds, I could hear the odd car go past, and then I could hear builders in the background. It was almost like I was on a theatre or a stage, and it was like in this massive play, like and all these things are happening and choreographed perfectly. A leaf fell down off the tree. For me, that's a huge thing, but also what I guide and support others to do with that as well is just taking that moment, whether it's even 5 minutes, just to pause from the busyness and coming into stillness, which has a huge amount of benefits for the mind and body and the soul.
I agree completely. I love to get out in the sunshine and the grass, but I've not graduated to the grounding portion where I'm always barefoot because I hate things in my feet.
Oh, yeah.
But I love the philosophy behind grounding, and I do it when I feel like my feet are safe. But in the woods and in the mountains, I got shoes on.
Yeah, excellent. No, well, it's powerful taking the shoes off. So if you get to that step, take the shoes off, and if you stand on the grass or whatever for a few minutes,
you just really tune in to the breath of the earth. And now you're going to know how woo-woo I am.
That's right, yeah.
But you can feel the energy from the earth when you take that step and get out there, and it just fills your body.
Yeah, totally. It's rejuvenating and it fills the soul, all sorts of positiveness, which is fantastic.
I always talk about our daily lives. We're like in a pressure cooker and it builds up all this pressure and we just blow up. Well, when you go out into nature, it just calmly goes down through your feet and into the earth. And it just takes away that extra pressure buildup. And I just love it.
Yeah, totally agree. I love it too. Very important to bring it into everyone's life.
You said you're in a city.
Yep.
I kind of live in a rural area, so it's easy to get to parks and stuff, and we're close to the mountains. But how do you find getting into nature in a busy city environment? I mean, we call New York the concrete city because only grass they have is in Central Park. Well, that's the city, not the state. But how do you get to that nature? Is there a way? Do you know a way to get to that state without being able to actually make it to a park?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, the breath is a big thing. It's funny because when you're talking, I just remembered a few years ago, I haven't seen it for a while, but we've got nature strips out on the footpath where there's grass. So we've got the footpath, grass, and the road. But there was a lady, 70s or something, every Sunday, so I was out there one day having a cup of tea in the morning. I noticed she took her shoes off and she was walking up and down the strip next door. It was quite lush grass. So she actually was doing the same thing. So shoes at one end of where the driveway is, and she was walking up and down the grass bare feet slowly. I'm not sure whether she had eyes closed, open, probably open. But I mean, that was a big learning for me because I think, okay, I don't have to go down the park or into the woods or whatever to find that. I can do it actually right out the front, following her guide and just be in that space. And no matter what's happening around us, and that was a big learning for me. You can do it anywhere.
I love that. Because sometimes we make it an excuse. I live in the city. There's no parks around, so I can't do that. And it's like, if you really want to, you will find a way. I've seen exercise videos of people in their halls. And it's like, if that's the only space you have, then go for it. Because it just seems like they're not making an excuse.
Absolutely.
And they're just doing it. And that's a hard step for a lot of us because we are raised that it's something else's fault why we're not perfect instead of how we're responding to it and how we're taking control of our own lives. Like, oh, I can't do that because so-and-so said I couldn't. Oh, yeah, right.
Absolutely, yeah. I've got a mini little challenge and part of the program as well, but it's a challenge to take all the excuses, the blaming and complaining out. So exactly what you just said then, if I make an excuse, I need to go find a huge park or I need to go to the beach or whatever to have that grounding, that's an excuse. But what can I do right now, like you just said then? So if you took the excuse out, what is possible? What could I do? Yeah, it's very powerful, isn't it? Like once you do start looking at that.
Yeah, I have a son that's into bodybuilding and he says, I'm an exercise junkie. I exercise every day. And he says, if you see that I'm too busy, I will do 10 push-ups. I will make sure I do something. And so when we start talking about self-care and connecting with nature and doing yoga, do something. Even if it's a single cleansing breath where you can just let it go. One thing is better than nothing. So those excuses just let us hold on to why we're not. It's somebody else's fault. But if you take that one step,
totally
you're way better off than you were.
Absolutely. Getting the old endorphins through the body, shifting the energy. Yeah, it's all powerful stuff. So yeah, exactly right. Doing that one thing, taking that one step.
Yeah. So we are at our time, but I really want to hear more wisdom from you because you're so full of it. Well, that sounded rude, didn't it? You're not full of, you're full of wisdom.
Happy to share, yeah. Thank you. Yes. Happy to share more. What would you like to know? I see my
Just that if you had one last thing you wanted to share with our listener before I closed up, I would let you. I mean, I would like it.
Excellent. One last share. I love music. So this is another very simple, small one. So often we get out of bed and we're dragging one feet after the other. But as soon as I put on uplifting music or something that's going to change the energy, whether it's breathing or whether it's just moving the body or whether it's music, whatever it is, do it. And then it just totally shifts and changes my whole energy, changes my thoughts, changes my emotion. So it's extremely powerful. So it's just your favorite uplifting positive music or song, bringing that bit of a funk into the morning so you don't sort of feel low energy for the rest of the day. But that totally changes it.
I never made that connection before. I know that sounds really dumb, but I listen to music every morning and I never really thought about it of why. Now I know because it really does. It helps get your brain, your body, and your life going after a beautiful rest.
Absolutely.
Thank you. Something that was subconscious or underneath is now
already
conscious.
doing it. Yeah, that's right.
So listener, listen to your favorite music in the morning. And I like it to be uplifting, something that's going to help me move forward. So for our listener, Paul and I are not medical professionals. We're here for entertainment and we love talking with people. So thank you for joining and we'll see you or hear you or talk to you, whatever verb you want, on the next episode. And that's a challenge episode. So talk to you later.
Are you tired of waking up exhausted? You are not alone. If you're looking to take your life back, let's start with the simple step of adjusting your self-talk. Stay tuned for the next episode with your host, Lara Jane. Remember to follow the show so you don't miss the next simple step that you can use to feel more confident. And please leave an honest review.